You're listening to Game and Chat, where we level up with conversations about gaming then and now. I'm your host, Daniel, aka One to Switcheroo. So let's press start and game on. Welcome everyone to Season 2 of Game and Chat, streamed directly to your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, or all of the above to support the cause. And with that being said, well, hello strangers, and welcome back. It is 2025, and this is the beginning of Season 2 of Game and Chat. It is so nice to be behind the mic again. We took a well-deserved break, and now we're back with more episodes, with more things to share, and a lot of cool stuff coming out this year. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we've been cooking, as the younglings will say. But anyway, we're back, people. Thank you so much again. Season 1 has been amazing, and the support that we're getting, even after we're done with the season and people keep watching the episodes, it really warms my heart. So thank you for all the support on this first year of Game and Chat, which was amazing, which was 2024. And it's all because of you that we're back, and we're excited to share more stuff with you. And now, without further ado, of course, we're going to talk about our episode 1 is going to be about the big elephant in the room of this year, which is finally the official named Nintendo Switch 2. It already got the announcement on early in January. We already know the name. We already know how the console looks like. We already know what the first game is being shown, which is Mario Kart 9. Name on hold, of course. But seeing that Nintendo is just straight up potentially launching the console with Mario Kart, I mean, it couldn't be a more smarter move than that. And now, what we could potentially be, and one of the biggest, if not the biggest, console launches in history, and Nintendo's going all out if that's the case. But today we're gonna focus on what is Daniel predicting for the Nintendo Switch 2 this year. What could potentially happen? What could potentially be revealed? What could potentially be announced for this year or maybe next year? So we're gonna go a little bit ham on this, guys. And I hope you guys are ready for the ride, because it's going to be a good year for Nintendo and, just gaming in general. 2024 was a little bit on the quieter side, but I think 2025 we're going to start out with a bang. So we are going to take a look at a couple of predictions that I have, 10 in total, to kick things up and keep the excitement going. I'm sure you guys are excited as much as I am. And, for full disclosure, these are all my own predictions. I know they've been doing some comments here and there, like leaks, etc. We're not going to touch it, though. This is what Daniel really thinks and or wishes for the launch of Nintendo Switch 2 and its future games and features. So without further ado, people, welcome to Season 2 of Game and Chat. It feels so good to be back. Welcome back to Episode 1. 10 bold predictions for Nintendo Switch 2. And of course, we're gonna kick things off right away, guys. And the first bold prediction that we can discuss right now for the first, I would say the first two. I guess it's kind of like a 2-in-1 kind of situation, but release date, of course. We have the Nintendo Direct Nintendo Switch 2 that is gonna happen on April 2nd. And based on the information that we're going to get there, of course, we're going to have to disclose all the features of the console. There has to be announcements of like the first 1 or 2 games that potentially will be revealed with the console or will come out like shortly after the console is released. I say, for my prediction number 1, that the console will release in May. Ladies and gentlemen, people saying that it might release in June. However, I feel like May has always been like a very big month for Nintendo releases. I mean, if we go backtrack 2023, we had Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And we had a couple of other games that were released around the May-June month cycle. So it might seem a little short notice. However, I feel like Nintendo in the past couple of years it's been like very bold in regards to like announcing things like within a month or 3 in advance before they get released. So they want to create hype. They want to create momentum going. I know from the consumer side of things, it might not be a great thing because that means that we're going to be pre-ordering that thing immediately. And we're going to have to deal with scalpers and all that. They are assured that they'll have enough supplies to combat the scalpers. In the reseller situation, however, I'm thinking last week of May, the Switch 2 will be releasing and will be in our hands. It would be very convenient because it's the month of my birthday. So it will be very happy to kick up things off with the new console to be released then. Of course, from there, now we can expect that on that presentation, we will get, of course, all of the features. It's nothing but confirmed now, the mouse functionality on the Switch 2 Joy-Cons, which I'm very excited and very creative way to kind of set themselves aside from what the original Switch was. So again, keep reinventing the wheel and thinking out of the box. Kudos on Nintendo for doing that. And now passing on to prediction number 2, if you want to call it that way, because we cannot predict the launch date with the launch titles. So here is where I'm gonna make a little bit of a bolder prediction now for the launch titles of the Switch. And hear me out, because actually, if you think about it, it could make really, really good sense. I will say that both Mario Kart 9 and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will be launch titles. Why is that, you say? First of all, because Mario Kart 9 is going to be the system seller. As we know, Nintendo keep releasing that freaking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle every single year. And besides that, we were so tired of it, every year it worked. And now Mario Kart is standing at 67 million units sold, insanely amount. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has sold almost 80% that every Switch party game released, and counting that every Switch first party game has sold at least $1 million. Yes, so and they released 72 games so far, so they have $72 million in the bank already, just because of that. By putting Mario Kart 9, which by the way is going to be a system exclusive, we know this for sure, it's at least guaranteeing for the first year of the console's release, I want to say 10 million. And I think I'm cutting it short. I think it's going to be way, way more than that. Now, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, we need a single player experience. The Switch one released with Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild was a cross-gen title. That being said, this is going to be a trend now, because I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the cross-gen title that's going to release with the Switch 2. And it just makes sense. I mean, they just confirmed in the investors meeting a couple of days ago that they will release in 2025. So it's set. It's happening. The wait is over for Metroid Prime 4. And I feel just like Breath of the Wild was the swan song for the Wii U to the Switch, Metroid Prime 4 will be the swan song from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. And nothing will beat a good first-time experience that having those games coming out. And we have the single-player experience and we have the multiplayer experience. So anyone that is looking for a specific Switch 2 first-time experience will get what they want. I feel like with Breath of the Wild, we only have Breath of the Wild pretty much as our brand new game that quote-unquote really mattered. There wasn't any a multiplayer grab there to release the console with. So having been worked this game side to side and then releasing them both at the same time, I feel it's gonna get all the market right away, which is very smart. A lot of people didn't get the Switch the first time because there was only Breath of the Wild, and maybe they're not into Zelda or open world single player games. They just wanted to have their multiplayer game. So by taking this approach, you're covering both markets. Therefore, you're gonna sell systems like crazy. So yes, guys, Mario Kart 9 Metroid Prime 4 will release with the Switch 2 on the last week of May. Now, moving on with prediction number 3. And this is another one that I feel like it's going to be cross titles as well, as it's going to release on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, Pokemon Legends ZA will release for both consoles. We just got the anniversary of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I keep reminiscing back into this game, how amazing it was for really finally reshaping the Pokemon formula into something fresh, something new, something more real. Like, I don't feel there's a game that feels as real, like we're actually like interacting and like catching and just like interacting with the world like Pokemon Legends Arceus was. So I love that they will continue the series, because I feel like eventually the mainline Pokemon games will turn into like kind of like a Legend style. I feel like Scarlet and Violet is a middle point in between both to eventually a full transition to what that could be. However, Pokemon Legends started on the Switch. It only makes sense that we'll have a sequel on the Switch also. And now we'll get the Switch 2 release. Whether they're gonna be two different versions in terms of performance and upgrades, I mean, I'm sure the Switch 2 version will look a lot better with all the Switch 2 capabilities, DLSS, AI upscaling, etc. I feel like it's gonna be based more on a minor upgrade, because in the end of the day, I mean, it's the Pokemon company. I don't have big hopes unless they really did their homework. I mean, they didn't release a Pokemon game last year. I hope they really learned their lesson, that with a little bit more time in the oven, these games can be amazing. And Pokemon Day is coming up in a couple of weeks, so we'll find out soon enough, so we can probably like check this prediction out of the box. And I mean, other than like different like performance like differences, very minor, I think it's gonna be the exact same game, just very well optimized. I really hope they did their homework, did their research, got help from other developers as well. I mean, they work with Nintendo. What else do you want? Just get Monolith Soft to do the whole thing. They're never gonna do that, but it only makes sense, Pokemon being as big of a franchise as it is, to have both versions of the game in two different consoles, because if anything is confirmed that Nintendo will keep supporting the Switch 1, which means more first-party titles will come for both Switch 1 and Switch 2. I'm sure they want that title the best-selling console of all time, so I see this year for the Switch actually very well supported, despite people moving forward to the new upgraded console. But not everybody can afford a Switch 2 right off the bat, so it's better to have the Switch 1 audience, which is going to be very broad still, occupied. And Pokemon is the perfect game to do that. Which pretty much leads to the next prediction. This is number 4 now on the count, which addressing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So we already know, and that's going to be an episode on its own eventually, that how the game really dropped the ball when it comes down on performance. And Pokemon really are so set up on their ways and their schedules and how things need to be released in a certain time period, and like crunch numbers and deadlines. And I really feel like they learned the lesson. I hope they learned their lesson. I mean, we'll know, like I said, when Pokemon Day comes in, and we'll see the trailer, if there's a trailer of Pokemon Legends ZA, how much they have learned. However, if that's the case and Pokemon Legends ZA will release later in the year, I feel like the release date for Pokemon Legends ZA should be middle to third quarter of the year, maybe. However, I'm very hopeful that prediction number 4, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will receive a performance patch for Switch 2. And that's the good news. The bad news is it's still going to be 30 frames per second. But you know what? That's okay. If you can have the game just run and smooth 30 frames per second, no drops, that's all we need. That is all we need, because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are really great games, are really good games. However, I feel myself that I cannot go back. Like I'm itching to go back to Legends Arceus more than I wanted to go back to Scarlet and Violet, because the performance issues are really bad. And like I said, I enjoy the game and I love the competitive side. I would like to learn a little bit more of the things, but I feel like I'm being like held back because of how the game poorly performs. So it would only make sense, and also it would only make sense for you to announce this. And if Pokemon Legends ZA comes out later in the year, like no right off when the Switch like the Switch 2 comes out. So let's say it's their holiday game around September, October, when the remakes normally used to come out. Then that'll be a good like waiting point. Just release the patch for the Switch 2, improve the performance of Scarlet and Violet so people can replay the game, like enjoy it as intended, and you'll get people hyped or not. And not only will you restore the faith of your fan base that you actually listened. I mean, you should have listened with Switch 1, but whatever, we're already past that. Get that patch going. See how much you can improve upon the game that you already have out. Convert those non-believers into believers that, now we're going to start to listen to the fan base. And, like we already have all the money in the world. Let's actually put it to good use. And then you'll have nothing but guarantee that when Pokemon Legends ZA comes out, and eventually Generation 10 next year, that we're in for the truest new generation of Pokemon, not only in gaming, but also in performance. So yes, I'm very hopeful that we'll get a performance upgrade from Scarlet and Violet. I know it's going to look better regardless of because of the Switch 2 capabilities. I don't know if it's going to influence on that, but I think Game Freak needs to put their part to make this thing work no matter what. So Game Freak, please listen to me, listen to your crowd, and please give us the performance patch for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that we deserve. Now, moving on to prediction number 5, people. And this is where we tackle on the very rumored and speculated remaster classics. But we're actually going to group a couple of things here, because not only a remaster classic we're going to talk about, but also the newest iteration of the 3D Mario series. So there's been talks that Breath of the Wild will get a remaster version on the Switch 2. I know do believe that, and I know I said that we want to talk like on rumors and leaks, but this is actually pretty much what I thought even prior to the conversation, especially because right now it seems like the age gap of releasing an original version of a game and the remaster version is getting a little bit smaller because technology is advancing like crazy. So a game that could look good 5 years ago could look much, much better with the technology that we have nowadays, especially with the AI features and all that. However, it would be very bold to say that, I mean, we're getting Metroid Prime 4, we're getting Pokemon Legends ZA, we're getting Mario Kart 9 in 2025. But you know what else we're going to get in 2025? Breath of the Wild Remaster and the new 3D Mario game. Yes, we're going to have them both in 2025, and this is going to be the biggest launch in Nintendo's history for a console in a year, with all main franchises just going out with bangers and bangers and bangers. I mean, first of all, Breath of the Wild makes sense. There were talks that in Gamescom a year ago, or was it 2 years? I don't remember anymore. Anyway, they were shown a remaster upscale version of Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames per second and with a better resolution, which we've seen a lot of these videos online on YouTube, people that play the game through an emulator. Oh my god, I said emulator, Nintendo's gonna get for me. But and you'll see like how the game like looks just gorgeous running on that resolution. However, you notice how those videos is like it's just Link running in the grass, but put him into combat, like show a boss fight on that resolution. The game's gonna crash. I've tried it. It just happens. But anyway, I feel like recapturing Breath of the Wild on a much better resolution will appease to the that community that were not very impressed with the performance and they were very bothered by the performance of the game, especially in very crowded areas or when you have a lot of enemies or a lot of things are going on the screen. And it will also tell you a reference point. I feel like it's a good reference point, like if you want to compare Switch versus Switch 2 performance, if you have a game that released on the Switch and put it up to par with the Switch 2, and again, a selling point for those who were wondering, hey, is the Switch 2 is going to be more powerful? The Switch 1 is just a better upgrade version like the OLED was. I think Breath of the Wild is the perfect example for that. And I'm looking forward to see that. I believe that, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of the two. I mean, there's no brainer of that. However, if you do give me a better, crispier version of Breath of the Wild, hell yes, I'm gonna play it. Of course I'm gonna play it. I love Zelda. Breath of the Wild is made Tears of the Kingdom my favorite game of all time. So I feel like the Breath of the Wild era as a whole is my favorite Zelda game. And I kind of wait to experience that with the proper upgrades and as intended. So I'm very hopeful for that, and I think it's gonna be that Zelda slot for this year. I hate to be this Debbie Downer. I don't think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are gonna release at least as a standalone separate games. I think they're gonna come as a GameCube release. Nintendo Switch Online, that's another prediction. We'll get there. We'll touch on that. However, now going to the 3D Mario. I mean, it's been 8 years now since Super Mario Odyssey. It's time to get the new 3D Mario, and I think it will be a crime if they don't release the 3D Mario on the holiday season. Like, literally, that's going to be your holiday game. That's going to be the system seller along with Mario Kart. And what a better way to start off with the new 3D Mario series. I really wish it's Super Mario Odyssey 2. I'm not asking for too much, to be completely honest. And I love Super Mario Odyssey to beats, and it just only makes sense to go on with the sequel. However, I do understand if they want to like experience something else with 3D Mario. And you know, like I said, we saw the little glimpse of hope with Bowser's Fury. And I just hope that whatever 3D Mario it's leaning on, I hope it's something that is unforgettable and as amazing that Mario Odyssey was. I wish I can play Mario Odyssey the first time and again, and I hope this new iteration really knocks it out of the park. I mean, they have the power now to make gorgeous visuals. In the end of the day, what's going to matter is the gameplay, the mechanics, how well Mario controls. Those are the key core mechanics that will make a 3D Mario successful. And you know, we have the new designs now, and like how they're taking Mario's design and aesthetics to a more cartoonish direction with the little glimpse that we got on Mario Kart 9. So I really hope that this game really like pops a color, and you know, they take inspiration of what Super Mario Bros. Wonder a year and a half ago already did. And I hope that it's just like blows it out of the park. But yes, people, we're gonna get the Breath of the Wild remaster. This is gonna be our selling point for the Switch 2 and our main comparison. And 3D Mario, because it's gonna be your holiday season title to get the console along with Mario Kart 9. So there you have it. Now, moving on with prediction number 6. Yes, 6. Numero 6. And, you know, keep on trend with the games that will be announced. Once again, it's been 7 years now since Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. And I believe that Sakurai will announce the game that he's been working on from 2-3 years ago now, since he announced his YouTube channel. And I hate to say it because I really wish he's making something else. Maybe he is. I'm still very hopeful for the Kid Icarus Uprising game, especially now that we have pretty much confirmed the mouse feature on the Switch 2. I mean, that's all you needed for the game to run anywhere else. So I hope that's the case, but we're gonna go with the most obvious one. Yeah, we're gonna get a new Smash Brothers announced. Please hear when I say announced. I don't think it's coming out in 2025. That will be a lot to take in. So I want to say the new Super Smash Brothers will be announced to be released in 2026. And how this is going to turn out, yes, I think it's going to be a shift in the Smash Brothers formula. I think that, I mean, it's kind of like a bittersweet for me because I love the Smash Brothers formula as it is right now. I don't think it needs to be changed. However, I don't understand that things need to evolve and things need to change and get freshen up, because we need, who knows, maybe we're missing on something now that Sakurai was able to finally figure it out for this iteration. So I'm looking forward, and if anything, I have faith in his work, and it's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite gaming developer out there. So I'm fully believing his vision, and I fully trust that whatever iteration comes it with, it's gonna be a heck of a good time. I hate to say that not all the characters will return, and I hate to say that my Banjo baby will be cut off the roster. However, I just look forward to see and experience that first reveal of what the new Smash Brothers will look like. And that being said, I believe that while we wait, and this is, I think, that is going to be like the generation where Nintendo will keep us busy while we wait for another big game to come out. I mean, I feel they started doing it like in the past year and a half, but they're really going to emphasize this for the Switch 2 generation, which is say, hey, listen, this game is going to come out later next year. It's going to be a bit of a time before we release it. However, we're going to keep you busy. I feel like just like they did with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, just like they're going to do with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, quote unquote, Sakurai will release a patch for a better performance of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which, let's face it, I mean, me, a semi-casual Smash Brothers player, I think the game is perfect right now as it is. It runs well. I'll play it normally. I would say the only adjustments that Ultimate will need, if anything, would be like maybe just, improve. It runs pretty much at 60 frames per second 90% of the time. Just keep it locked. No drops, of course. But also, I feel like where it really needs the adjustment, it's on the online. I feel like this is a time where Sakurai will actually implement the rollback netcode that improves the online experience, and the input delays will also be fixed. So we're gonna have the best Smash Brothers game ever released, performing at its peak on the Switch 2. And this patch for Switch 2 will be announced and will be released not too far off. I want to say even as soon as a month or a month and a half from the moment it gets announced. Whatever that means, I'm not sure. That he might come out and announce it when the Switch 2 presentation comes out. I believe it's going to happen on the Nintendo Direct for June slot, if it ever happens. That will tell us exactly what's going on. But upgraded patch for Smash Bros. Ultimate, a lot of the community would really appreciate that, and only just to hold us over until the next iteration of Smash, which I'm gonna be completely honest, you guys, I'm very happy with Ultimate. If we get like a remaster, quote unquote, version of Smash Bros. Ultimate and just add a couple more stages and like 5 more characters, that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need to scratch my back. And we're already picked with Smash Bros. Ultimate, in my opinion. I don't think the series is gonna go away by any means, but of course I'm gonna welcome any new iteration with new mechanics and a new take on the formula. So yes, Smash Brothers fans alike, we will get the announcement of the new iteration, but while we wait, we're gonna keep playing with a better version of one of the best, if not the best, fighting game of all time. Now to lucky number 7, prediction number 7, and this is a pretty much straightforward prediction, especially because we're already being teased with one of the main core features of the new console, which is the mouse functionality. And what better game to tease this than Super Mario Maker 3? And I will even dare to say that we're going to get a tease of Super Mario Maker 3 on the trailer, the first actual trailer that they put for the Switch 2. You're going to show this little guy putting the Switch as a mouse in his desk on tabletop mode, which nobody uses, by the way, but it's there. And we'll see him editing levels left and right, clicking and pointing, and how smooth and easy it is in a Super Mario Bros. Wonder style. Now, when this is going to be released the first year, I don't think so. I feel like this year is going to be very packed with a lot of first-party titles. If it does, I'm very happy to take it because that's like one of my favorite games on the system. It's the game that got me streaming. So the sooner we can get the third iteration, the better, because I'm going to be streaming that every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And of course, it's going to show a couple of new features. We're going to get a new style with Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And also, actually, I just thought of this. What if they go ahead and they add the 3D style to Super Mario Maker 3? Super Mario Maker 3, Super Mario Maker 3D. Give me Super Mario 64 style, and you don't have to add anything else because I know the console maybe won't handle it. But if you do a 3D Super Mario Maker with the Super Mario 64 style, which we short all the assets can be handled by the Switch too. Oh my god, that will be amazing. You see a live extra prediction while we're recording this. That will be sick, and it will make so much sense because it's the third iteration, 3D, new console. Okay, that's it. Nintendo should hire me. Marketing, I just finished the course. Please, Nintendo, I'm your guy right here. All right, well, there you have it. So we're going to tease the idea of Super Mario Maker 3 on the trailer with the mouse functionality. We'll get the Wonder style, and the surprise is that we'll get a 3D Super Mario 64 style separate from the game. I think it might be kind of like a separate game, like maybe Super Mario Maker 3 plus 3D Mario Maker, sort of like Bowser's Fury style, what Super Mario 3D World was. Damn, I'm surprised myself. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, I think this will be awesome. I mean, somebody else did it already on PC, so why don't Nintendo just take that thing down and do it themselves? Shout out to whoever did that, by the way. That was amazing when I tried it on PC. So yeah, we know it can be made, so might as well just take it off and do it right off the bat. So there you have it. Predictions 7 and 7.5 right away there. All right, number 8. We are approaching the last 2 predictions of this episode. And now, of course, this is going to be the pretty obvious one. Nintendo Switch Online is going to get a price increase. And the selling point is going to be GameCube. And with GameCube and Nintendo Switch Online coming, I feel like the first games that we're going to get, it's going to be Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, and maybe Twilight Princess. Maybe Wind Waker, maybe Twilight Princess will come last. I think Wind Waker and F-Zero GX might be the games to launch the system with. If we're going to pick up another couple games, I mean, given the fact that there are like larger games, they might do it like maybe like they're going to launch with probably like 5 only. I would say Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Mario Sunshine, and what else can be launched? I don't want to say Super Smash Bros. Melee because 64 hasn't made it to the console yet. And the moment they release Melee with online functionality, I think that's gonna be the end for any upcoming Smash Brothers. Hey, who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us and we'll actually like drop it. You know, I was just thinking that why would they wouldn't release Smash Brothers 64 already on the NSO that we already have? I'm not very sure what was the take there. However, Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, Mario Kart Double Dash, Super Mario Sunshine, and maybe like a third-party game, like a Fire Emblem or something. I would say that would be the 5 titles that the system will support with. Of course, we're gonna get the announcement of the GameCube NSO controller, which is gonna be the most overused and the most valuable item in Nintendo's gaming history. A wireless, officially licensed Nintendo GameCube controller. That would be amazing, especially for us Smash Brothers fans. So you know, it's nothing but given that GameCube is gonna come in some form. It's just that I feel like for the console that it was released for like the first Switch, it might have been a little bit too much to handle because not all the games will run exactly the same. Yes, I know they managed to remaster and make Sunshine work when they released the 3D All-Stars package with Super Mario. However, to have a seamless experience, especially if it's going to be streamed, I feel like it's better to do it on a console that can handle that and has all the resources to render the games in a much appropriate game. So there you have it. It's the GameCube NSO that we've been predicting for like 3 years from now that was going to come on the Switch 1 is finally going to make its debut on Switch 2. It might, I don't know if it's going to be at launch. However, I feel like it's going to be around the direct line in June. I mean, if the console ends up releasing in June, that might be a little too soon. I want to say September. The September direct slot is where this is going to be shadow drop, to be completely honest. And we all have finally our little GameCube games running on our newest console. Now we save the best two for last. This is where we're going to go wild, people. So buckle up, because prediction number 9 is where we take a little bit of our minds off and put our little thinking foil cap. And of course, I'm going to briefly mention that, of course, we already know that Xbox is going to fully support the Switch 2 and PlayStation with third-party releases. I'm not even going to start bringing that up because already a few games that very likely will come out for the console when it releases. I don't know if it's going to go into the extension of Game Pass, so that will be insane. And, you know, there are those rumors that Game Pass was going to come to the Switch that happened like 3-4 years ago will actually come to fruition on Switch 2. However, I'm going to go on a limb here, people, and because we already have this company releasing games on the Switch, but I feel like they're going to release their full-blown first-party game on Switch 2. I'm going to say that PlayStation Studios will release a first-party title on Switch 2, yeah, guys. I feel like they know and they understand that despite being a competition, the Switch 2 is going to sell like pancakes. Like, we're talking about a system that everybody owns. We're talking about a system that the highest selling point is their exclusive. So if they can have everything condensed into one console, you know, they're going to release their own handheld hardware eventually. There's been talks about that. We know this already. However, if they are lenient to release some of those like first-party titles that will like match the Switch core experience and audience, then it would be an amazing feature. So I will say that, yes, I know we have MLB The Show and that we have the Horizon Adventures Lego game that released a couple of months ago, which are PlayStation, but they're not first-party developed by them. I will say that we are going to get a full first-party title from a PlayStation exclusive studio to release on Switch 2. I'm not going to say it's going to be a brand new game. However, I will see, for example, something like Ratchet and Clank Rip Apart being re-released for the Switch 2. And that will be like the game that will open the floodgates on terms of like what could be released and what could not. And the other one that I could see releasing also would be Horizon Zero Dawn, because already they released the Horizon Lego game. So I think the Nintendo Switch fanbase are familiar with Aloy and the Horizon story, quote unquote. However, I think Aloy, and I will say this also, if Horizon Zero Dawn makes the move to Switch 2, I can say that Aloy will be on the next Smash Brothers. And that would be one hell of a partnership there, because never in a million years, it's going to be sort of like a Snake moment. I mean, nothing's going to be that Snake moment that happened in Brawl. However, the fact that you have one of the main characters from PlayStation to star on the fighting game that Sakurai created, especially after seeing the reception that Ultimate had with all the guest characters, Banjo-Kazooie, Sephiroth, Sora, which was like the biggest like closing for the game. And they understand that this is gonna be more beneficial for them. I feel like we're talking about the partnership of a century, with Nintendo and PlayStation finally shaking hands, and PlayStation allowing games to be put on the most popular system out there. Not necessarily represented on sales, but like, let's be real. For franchises like Ratchet and Clank and Horizon and anything like that, like Sackboy, I want to say they're not going to do Astro Bot, and it saddens me. I would love to see Astro Bot on the Switch because it would just make sense. But Astro Bot is going to be their Mario going forward, so I'm going to keep that as their system seller for the PlayStation. But I feel like PlayStation Studios will be releasing first-party titles on the Switch. Selected titles, yes, but they're going to be there, and it's going to be opening the floodgates of what Nintendo Switch 2 can potentially become for all of us. And last, but certainly not least, our 10th and final prediction for the Switch 2 in 2025. The biggest reveal in Nintendo's history, the most acclaimed feature or quality of the console that people are always looking forward to. Ladies and gentlemen, Switch Karen will make a return on the trailer for the Switch 2. I mean, pop culture and memes are being an essential part of our day-to-day basis since the last 15 years now. Probably longer than that if I don't recall correctly. However, Nintendo understands this, and I think little by little they've been like leaning into playing around with the facts and just going along with the jokes and all that. It will be just a full circle moment to bring Switch Karen. And for those who don't know who Switch Karen is that girl on the Switch 1 trailer, that short-haired girl that she was showed playing Super Mario Odyssey, which was her first look at Super Mario Odyssey then. And then she goes on the window, there's a rooftop party, she wants to go to a rooftop party, takes their Switch, and then she gets to a rooftop party and shares the Joy-Cons and people starting to play on handheld, on that tiny little screen, on a rooftop, outdoors. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but people made so many jokes and so many things about this, to the point that even like the girl actually like embraced the fact that she was forever will known as Switch Karen. And you know, this just makes sense, like, to make the trailer fun, and it will be a full circle moment for the console to just bring out Switch Karen again and showcase the new console. And hey, you guys remember me from last time, right? Look at my brand new console now. Oh, you thought I was stupid? I don't know. I just feel like they can have really fun with this concept. I really hope that she really makes a return, and it's definitely looking forward to be that way. And like I said, it would just be a fun thing to see. And I know it sounds like a silly prediction, but I am very hopeful that she capitalizes on that. And it's just the world we live in, people, and like we just need to embrace that. And she's gonna be showing all the features of the new Switch. And probably what I'm gonna say is that she either is gonna be playing the new Mario again, or she's gonna use the mouse functionality for like a totally different game. I feel like that's gonna be the thing. And again, she's probably gonna also do a thing on the rooftop or like somewhere else outdoorsy one more time, just to like, you know, just put the cherry on top on that Switch 2 trailer reveal. Well, not reveal, like an actual trailer of people actually using it and all that. So there you have it, guys. Switch Karen, will be back, and we'll be so happy to see her for nostalgia's sakes. And there you have it, people. Those are my 10 bold predictions for the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025. And with this, we reach to the end of episode 1. We're starting over. Season 2 is finally here, and we are just in for the ride. So thank you, everyone, for listening. All my crazy predictions here or there. Some of them are very obvious. All of them not so crazy, and some of them kind of like very bold. I think bold is the word for this episode. So definitely looking forward to see. We'll review at the end of the year if any of what I said came true or not. but I feel like this is a better off to start to kick things off, not only with the first episode of the new season, but also in the waits of when the console is finally released. Of course, thank you very much for everybody who has listened to us so far. And I want to hear your crazy predictions as well. So please feel free to reach out, comment, whatever you want to do to express yourself. Please let me know. I would love to hear or read your predictions of what the console will do, what the games are going to be released. Is Switch Karen going to come back at all? So I'm really looking forward to see what you guys come up with and all the crazy stuff that you can think of. But in the meantime, that's going to be it for episode 1, people. And of course, to close things out, I'm going to share a little bit of what I've been playing so far. Now, it's a very slow month the past couple months, so right now I'm kind of like working on my backlog a little bit. I've been going back and forth between Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Mario Luigi Brother shit, but I'm kind of like scattered around a little bit just because I'm ready for like a brand new game, like something to look forward to. And yes, we got the trailer for the Switch 2. However, it's good. It will be very nice to see what games will come along with and have something to look forward to. But right now we're trying to keep up with the backlog, going here and there, planning out the podcast and all the fun stuff that is going to come in the future. And a lot of good stuff is going to come in the podcast in the future. New guest, Sounds by Sebas, will return along with brand new guest and mind-like individual. So I hope you guys look forward for those episodes, which will be bantering and debating of different topics in the gaming industry, not only Nintendo, but also in gaming in general. But in the meantime, guys, welcome back. It feels good to be back, and I hope you guys to see you back on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. This has been episode 1 of Game and Chat. This is Daniel, aka One to Switcheroo, signing off. Game on.